they were having not shows, but they were having really interesting entertainment, you know, talks and things. And they'd get 25 people there. And I mean, it just wasn't enough to produce the money to keep the hall in good order. I mean, for one thing, the bell tower leaked. You know, there were issues of that sort that were desperate. The heating was appalling. We froze. In fact, we closed the hall down until this last year. We closed the hall down between December and February because even if you had an event on, the loos froze. It was that cold.
That's cold. That's cold.
So we virtually doubled the heating capacity in there as a result. But it all costs money. And if you're going to get grants, you've got to show that you've got people. So it's all wrapped up in showing to the providers of the extra funds that you need that you really have an audience, that it's worth keeping going. First thing was, Dickie dropped me in it, didn't you, really? Because he said, we'll put on the production of Milkwood. And I thought, we'd only been here, you know, less than a year.
Milkwood plays an important part in our lives. So we're both in the film with Burton and Liz Taylor, you know. And she more than me, she was on the floor with Liz Taylor, weren't you? And Burton. I wasn't on the floor.
No, nobody was on the floor with those two, but Peter O'Toole, yes.
Peter O'Toole.
Yes.
My wife would be so jealous.
Would she?
Oh, yeah.
He got wonderfully drunk, but that was before he became a reformed character. Then the following year, again from Hampshire County Council, we were told about Hold the Limelight at night. And I think that is just such a wonderful scheme because it makes it possible to put on professional theatre in a tiny venue like ours. We were told about something which wasn't a Hog the Limelight event, but was a company playing commedia dell'arte around the south of England called the Rude Mechanicals. And the first year they came, you know, I sort of rang up and said we'd be interested and said we'd got a village green there, an outdoor touring theatre company. The director came over and had a look because he'd originally said he wanted an open space with an indoor space that he could use if it was pouring. Well, he came round and said, well, we can't use the indoor space, it's not big enough. Just about get the cast in and audience. No. So that's that. And so I thought, you know, fancy village green. Anyway, he said, but we'll come and take the risk. Hello, Peter.
Hello, Jill, how are you?
Fine.
Good to see you. Sorry we're a bit late.
We?
That's all right.
You were late as well.
We weren't.
Were you here by
2 minutes past 4.
2 minutes? Well, you were late then. 2 minutes.
And that's by that clock.
Still late?
6 minutes past.
Right, can we get in then?
Yeah.
What do you think? I think we should put it about... expecting quite a lot of people, so about there.
Yeah.
Expecting quite a lot of people.
All right.
It's a lot warmer this year. We have had one brilliantly sunny year. That was wonderful. It was very hot. This lot who were in costume were frying by the end of it and all came and jumped in the pool afterwards. So that was good fun all round. But we shall, they'll be staying with us overnight because they've come from Tunbridge Wells, so there's 7 houses will be offering hospitality, and the hosts and the cast will come up to the house and have a noggin or two before they go off, as is usual after a theatre show. And I bought a few crisps. I know last year I told them there wasn't going to be any proper food, but at the end of it there was half a peanut left.
Have you sold 100 tickets?
Yeah, it's in there.
Brilliant. Well, we've sold about 30.
How many tickets do you usually sell? Is 100 quite a lot?
It is. We had 120 altogether last year, but I'm sure we didn't sell anything like that number of tickets. But the audience for this builds up over time. Peter told us it would. I mean, the first year, there were 25 of us. I was just talking to him about it now, because it was freezing cold, poured with rain, and our oldest resident was sat in a wheelchair in the middle of the grass, waiting for the second half, while we all warmed our hands round a brazier that Des had lit. And I think that impressed them so much, after making a huge loss, that they came the following year, and they've been ever since. I think we're going to get run over. They are purists in the Commedia dell'arte, and that this is pretty well the way it's supposed to be done. I think there are other Commedia dell'arte companies, but according to Peter, they're not as faithful to the... I believe he's got a PhD in it, and because he writes all the plays himself, and I think he's got a nice style. His sense of humour appeals.
Quite wicked.
Very well written,
Absolutely.
and the cast like it. Yeah. So yeah, they're experienced actors, and very hard working. I mean, they obviously do this as for, you know, out of idealism, really, because it's not an easy way to earn a crust.
No, that's right.
I mean, they're setting up. They've got to be strong. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. They've got to be really strong, and they've got to have lots of stamina, because they'll finish the get out in the morning, then they'll pack up and set off with their with the modern equivalent of the cart that used to be taken around the villages, and they'll turn up at the next venue, which might be 40 miles away, 60 miles away. Then then as soon as they get there, they unpack it, put it all together, and it's lovely to watch actually, as the scenery actually opens up in front of you, and the audience turn up, thoroughly enjoyed the show.
The delectable Bella Mulroney! There ain't no artist that I've been up and go to Johnny past the snow baloney. That Mulroney is the sweetest bird around. If you ask me my opinion,
Sure can bring you if it's whiskey or wanting, and you can put $1 on the bar.
$1? Sure can! Oh, please, don't shoot me.
The mime is second to none. I mean, the use of the slapstick, it's all the timing. By the time they get to us in August, it's really honed in, and it's just lovely. You know.
Going to the barbers!
God to the barbers! God to the goddamn barbers!
Well, I particularly don't want the building to become a cause. It's the community that is the cause. We put on what we want, and the village is the place we do it. But no building is an end in itself.
I bet you wrestle bears, don't you, Mr. Carmack?
Yes, sirree, Bob, I sure do.
Naked too, I expect.
No.
I thought you probably did. And I bet you give him a right good whipping, don't you?
This has been a wonderful year, yeah. And again, they all came up, and because it was a warmer evening, they all jumped in the pool again, which was very, very nice. And they all trooped off about 1 o'clock in the morning.